Ramadan Bazaar returns after 2 years hiatus. Traders told not to hike prices amid border reopening and 6 people dead in Sacramento shooting in California. Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, everyone. You're with me, Yalit, and this is TVS Nightline. With the reopening of Ramadan Bazaars, Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, hopes that the revival can help traders generate extra income after nearly 2 years of hiatus. In his speech, Abang Johari also urged the people to remain vigilant against the spread of COVID-19, despite the country is now in the transition to endemic phase. The Premier's speech was delivered by Deputy Minister of Utility and Telecommunication, Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, at the launch of Kuching South City Council MBKS Ramadan Bazaar on Sunday.
Pertamanya, saya ingin menyampaikan salam daripada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Petinggi Dr. Haji Abdul Rahman Johari bin Tun Abang Openg, Premier Sarawak, yang tidak dapat datang pada petang ini kerana ada komitmen rasmi yang lain, dan telah minta saya untuk mewakili Yang Amat Berhormat Premier. Semoga Bazar Ramadan MBKS yang selalu diadakan selama ini berjalan dengan lancar dan memberi manfaat kepada semua pihak, terutamanya kepada peniaga-peniaga kita dan juga kepada pihak pengurusan MBKS.
The Pantai Damai Assemblyman also said the relaxation granted by the transition to endemic phase will definitely provide traders the opportunity to increase their sources of income. The MBKS Ramadan Bazaar is held in full compliance to the standard operating procedures to ensure the safety of both visitors and traders.
Tahun-tahun lepas kita ada 100 lebih, 120, 130. Tahun ini kita kurangkan kepada separuh. Hingga tahun ini kita hanya ada 68 stall sahaja berbanding 122 pada tahun-tahun yang lepas. Kemudian setiap pengusaha stall kita wajibkan menjalani ujian swab test setiap minggu. Maknanya setiap hari Ahad. Maknanya ini dibuat swab test, and then next Sunday dia kena buat swab test ini. And then kita pastikan bahawa mereka sudah mendapat booster shot.
Meanwhile, Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi also visited the Kuching North City Hall DBKU Ramadan Bazaar on Sunday. He said the standard operating procedures, such as scanning of MySejahtera and wearing a face mask, still need to be followed, even though the Ramadan Bazaars are now allowed open.
Di pintu masuk setiap Bazar Ramadan, saya berkesempatan tadi di MBKS, sekarang pada DBKU. Saya pasti di bazar-bazar Ramadan lain di bawah majlis kita, di pintu masuknya dipastikan bahawa setiap pengunjung mendaftar MySejahtera melalui QR code yang disediakan. Itu jadi kewajipan dan jadi budaya pada kita lah. Jadi itu kewajipannya. Yang keduanya, sedaya upaya sesama kita untuk mengamalkan penjarakan fizikal sesama kita. Dan semua orang diminta untuk menggunakan face mask. Dan pada masa saya masuk, saya bersama dengan pemangku pengarah, Puan Salwa, dan juga kaki tangan staf pegawai-pegawai daripada BKU mengedarkan sekotak pelitup muka face mask kepada setiap gerai.
Visitors met by TVS at the Ramadan Bazaar shared their joy and excitement over the return of the bazaars despite in the new norm.
Alhamdulillah, untuk Bazar Ramadan dah buka seperti biasa. Memang teruja dan bersyukur bagi pihak sidak penjajah lah, at least adalah bisnes untuk sidaknya. Dalam kita berseronok ke Bazar Ramadan, pada masa yang sama perlu kita ingat juga lah, pastikan sentiasa pakai face mask, bekal hand sanitizer, elakkan daripada melanggar peraturan sedia kala lah demi keselamatan kita bersama.
In 2020, Ramadan bazaars nationwide were not permitted to open due to the movement control order in an effort to curb the spread of COVID-19. Traders are told not to take advantage of the border reopening to increase the prices of their goods. Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, Dato Sri Alexander Nantalinggi, said the arrival of visitors from abroad into the country would definitely spell good news to the economic sector.
Nanta said this after launching the Ops Pantau 2022 in Kuching on Sunday. Through Ops Pantau 2022, Nanta said his ministry would step up enforcement and monitoring during Ramadan and Hari Raya Aidil Fitri this year. The nationwide price monitoring effort aims to ensure that consumers are able to easily access food supplies and daily necessities at reasonable prices for the upcoming festive season.
And at the same time, Nantalinggi said petrol station operators selling subsidized RON 95 petrol to foreign registered vehicles, including motorcycles, will face stern action. He said his ministry have periodically issued instructions to all petrol companies and petrol station operators near the Singapore border to ensure that the RON 95 petrol sales ban is enforced. The Act stipulates the following penalties, including fines not exceeding 1 million ringgit or a jail sentence of not more than 3 years or both for individuals, and fines no more than 2 million ringgit for entities or companies that violate the Act. The ministry views the matter seriously after the issue went viral, with allegations that vehicles bearing Singapore registration plates were seen being filled up with yellow nozzle pumps, which usually are reserved for RON 95 petrol. He also said that the ministry's enforcement division has been instructed to conduct an immediate investigation and be more aggressive in its monitoring efforts at all petrol stations, especially those near border states, to avoid leakages of subsidized petrol to foreign vehicles. Nanta also added that more aggressive enforcement activities will also be conducted with the launch of Ops Pantau 2022 to ensure that supplies of products are adequate and sold at affordable prices, as well as to ensure a high level of compliance among businesses following the complete reopening of the economic sector and the country's borders that began on April 1st. The State Ministry of Utility and Telecommunication is identifying several important amenities needed at the Sungai Baji Agro Park in Sarikei. Its Minister, Dato Julahi Nurawi, said in addition to road network and telecommunication services, the 127-hectare site also requires water and electricity supply.
Dan saya telah memberi arahan supaya semua keperluan ini diluluskan untuk membolehkan perancangan ini menjadi realiti. So they will be part of the coordination committee lah untuk membincang bagaimana nak melaksanakan keperluan tidak tu di kawasan tu. Ya, tujuan saya datang ke situ lah. Pertanian adalah di bawah Kementerian Pertanian.
The Smart Agro project will be a platform for local farmers to participate in modern farming methods to enable them to penetrate the global market. The Sungai Baji Agro Park is also a testament to Sarawak government's effort in making the state a major food producer and exporter by 2030.
Funding semua ada. Kita akan beri nasihat dari segi teknikal, jebab dan SEB, SESCO akan beri bantuan dari segi teknikal. SDEC akan SDEC dan MCMC akan mengendalikan dari segi telco tower, menara telco yang sudah dikenal pasti tapak juga dalam kawasan ini dan yang berada dalam Bandar Serikei.
Once completed, the Sungai Baji Agro Park will be Sarawak's first smart agro park. Sarikei was chosen for the pilot project due to its economic strength in agriculture and farmers.
A natural cascading waterfall has just been discovered deep in the Bung Bratak jungles. The discovery was revealed by Bung Bratak Heritage Association Chairman Dato' Peter Minos, who adds that the waterfall could serve as an attraction and extension to the Badayo historical site. According to Minos, the waterfall was recently discovered by Bung Bratak Heritage Centre staff after an extensive search. A concrete path leading to the waterfall and the Bung Bratak summit was also constructed by the Sarawak Forest Department. He noted that the number of visitors to Bung Bratak is steadily increasing now that the COVID-19 cases are exhibiting a downward trend and as the country is now in the transition to endemic phase. With the latest nature discovery, Minos said Bung Bratak has everything to offer to visitors, from mountain scenery to jungle trekking. Welcome back. Sarawak recorded 351 new COVID-19 cases on Sunday, making the total cumulative cases in the state to 299,935 cases. State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC) in a statement said that out of the total, 5 cases involved Category 3, Category 4 and Category 5 cases, while the remaining cases were of Category 1 and 2 cases. Kuching recorded the highest number of daily infections with 117 cases. At the same time, SDMC also reported 1 new death on April 2nd. The case involved a 65-year-old woman in Kuching who suffered from high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, and cancer. Meanwhile, no new clusters were recorded, making the total number of clusters in Sarawak to remain at 7 clusters. A total of 6,129 children aged between 5 and 11 years have completed 2 doses of the COVID-19 vaccination under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for Children, or PICKIT, as of yesterday.
Based on the COVID-19 website, a total of 1,346,625 children, or 38% of the child population in Malaysia, have received the first dose of the vaccine. Meanwhile, a total of 15,844,706 individuals, or 67.3% of the adult population in the country, have received the COVID-19 booster dose. For adolescents aged 12 to 17, a total of 2,853,182 individuals, or 91.7% of the group, have completed the vaccination, while 2,949,478, or 94.8%, received at least one dose of the vaccine. Yesterday, a total of 25,702 doses of the vaccine were dispensed, involving 8,752 as the first dose, 5,292 as the second doses, and 11,658 booster doses, bringing the cumulative number of vaccine doses administered under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program to 68,972,658.
In business news, local-based aluminium company Press Metal Aluminium Holdings is trying to raise funds of up to 1 billion ringgit in a push to increase its production amid a worsening supply issue following the Russia-Ukraine conflict. On Tuesday, the company announced that it is selling 163.4 million new shares at 5 ringgit 94 cents each.
Quoting a Forbes report, profits from the share will be used to upgrade the company's output operations and further enhance Press Metal's production capacity. It will also be channeled to fund working capital requirements against the surging raw material prices backdrop. In 2021, the company completed the third phase of its smelting facility in the Samalaju Industrial Park in Bintulu, which is capable of generating more than 1 million metric tons of aluminium. Press Metal's net profit soared to an all-time high of 1 billion ringgit in 2021 in tandem with its revenue increase of 11 billion ringgit from the previous year. In a statement last month, its Chief Executive Officer Kun Bo-kyung expected demand for low-carbon aluminium to increase. Founded by Bo-kyung and his four brothers in 1986, Press Metal has since become the largest aluminium producer in Southeast Asia.
At least 6 people died and 9 others injured in a shooting in Sacramento, California on Sunday. Police said several blocks of a commercial stretch of the downtown area were closed while they investigate. Videos posted online showed people shouting and running in the street. The incident comes a little more than a month after a man shot and killed his 3 children and a 4th person before taking his own life in the same city. Over in China, as Shanghai on Sunday ordered its 26 million residents to undergo 2 more rounds of tests for COVID-19 as public anger grows over how authorities in China's most populous city are tackling a record coronavirus surge. Residents are required self-test on Sunday using antigen kits and report any positive results, while a nucleic acid test would be conducted citywide on Monday. All of China's financial capital is on lockdown after the city began curbing movement in its eastern districts last Monday, extending the restrictions to the entire city days later. Shanghai's lockdown has massively disrupted daily life and businesses, even as healthcare workers and volunteers work round the clock trying to test the entire population and supply residents with groceries. China's COVID-19 caseload remains low by international standards, but spikes in places like Shanghai are testing its previously successful approach of stamping out the virus through strict curbs and aggressive testing and tracing. Most of Shanghai's infections have been asymptomatic, but China's zero-policy approach requires authorities to test, trace, and centrally quarantine all positive cases. Shanghai on Sunday reported 7,788 daily locally transmitted asymptomatic cases, up from 6,501 the day before, while symptomatic cases rose to 438 from 260. The city accounted for the bulk of mainland China's 11,781 daily locally transmitted asymptomatic cases and nearly one-third of its 1,506 symptomatic cases. This was the highest national case count since the early days of the pandemic in February 2020. China is also battling a large outbreak in the northeastern province of Jilin. A state of emergency was declared in Sri Lanka on April 1st by its president, while citizens carried out with their daily routines. Shops were open and people went about their business, though many are still on the verge of putting out another riot.
Many Sri Lankans were angered by shortages of fuel and other essential items, which resulted in a clash between the people and the authorities stationed outside of the president's residence. Several police and army vehicles were set on fire. 53 people were arrested and then imposed a curfew in and around Sri Lanka's capital, Colombo, so as to not incite any more upcoming riots. The declaration of the state of emergency on Sri Lanka has allowed authorities to arrest and detain suspects without warrants.
මිනිස්සු එළියට බහින්නේ මිනිස්සුන්ට බැරිම වුණොත් තමයි එළියට බහින්නේ. මිනිස්සුන්ට පුළුවන් වුණොත් එළියට බහින්නේ නැහනේ. මෙච්චර කාලයක් එහෙම වුණ නැහනේ මේ රටේ. කවදාකවත් එහෙම වුණ නැහනේ. නිකම් මිනිස්සු ඉතලම එළියට බහිනවා කියන්නේ ඒක රටේ දේශපාලන කරන නායකයෝ බොහොම කල්පනාවෙන් වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ.
Sri Lanka hit economic turmoil when the foreign currency hit rock bottom, and that a vessel 5,500 metric tons of cooking gas had to leave the country's port when they don't have the money to procure the supply. Adding to that, the country's mismanagement in handling the COVID-19 pandemic had a major negative impact on its economy in various aspects, particularly tourism.
The pilot of the world's largest and heaviest aircraft, the Antonov AN-225 cargo plane on Saturday said there is no hope for the plane's restoration after it was destroyed by a Russian attack. The cargo plane was undergoing maintenance at the Gostomel airport last month when it was attacked by Russian military.
Returning to assess the damage at the airport, pilot Dmitry Antonov walked past the wreckages of several planes before reaching what remained of the Antonov 225 Mriya, which in Ukrainian means dream.
Вот просто грусть такая, что передать невозможно. Сам понимаю, что еще... Да, ровно 2 месяца назад я в крайнюю командировку отправился на Мрии, слетал. И даже не мог себе предположить, что такое вообще.
Ukrainian State Defense Company reported in February that the Mriya, which can carry up to 250 tons, had been set ablaze in a Russian attack and that restoring it would cost more than $3 billion. The attack marked a tragic end to an aircraft that has seen more than 30 years of service, which first took flight in 1988. Only one Mriya aircraft was ever built, as construction on a second plane was never finished. Its popularity in the aviation world meant it often drew large crowds wherever it went, particularly when it made appearances at air shows and used to deliver supplies during crisis in other countries, such as in 2010 Haiti earthquake, and transporting medical supplies during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And it has been almost a week since the Academy Awards took place, but talks about Will Smith slapping comedian and longtime friend Chris Rock has not died down. After much deliberation and scrutiny, Smith, who won the Best Actor award on the same night, has decided to withdraw himself from the Academy.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2.
The resignation from Hollywood's Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences was following a statement by Smith himself, who admitted his actions had betrayed the trust of the Academy, and that the incident had deprived other nominees and the winners of the opportunity to celebrate their achievements. On top of his resignation, Smith also stated that he will accept any further consequences from the Academy if the board deems appropriate. During the 94th Academy Awards, Smith committed a historical moment in Oscars history where he slapped Rock after he made a joke about his wife's bald head. Rock was not aware of Jada Pinkett's condition, alopecia, a condition where someone loses all of their hair. He made a clear statement to not escalate the situation further, showing professionalism while hosting the award ceremony that took place on March 28. Several celebrities have also shown support towards Rock, such as fellow comedian Martin Lawrence, Zoe Kravitz, James Corden, and more, as Rock kept himself composed during the incident. Other celebrities have also shown their support to Smith, as he was quoted as one of the nicest men in Hollywood, but ruined his reputation overnight.
And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. More headlines, head to our website, TVSTVMY, or follow us on our social media. Once again, I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you and have a pleasant week ahead.